Welcome back to Final Fantasy II. In the previous episode, I showed the dragon's pendant to the mirror of Finn Castle, summoning the last wyvern, allowing me to enter the cyclone and defeating the Emperor at the end of it. Leon, the Dark Knight, declared himself Emperor, so I went to Castle Pandaemonium to face him. But the Emperor rose from hell. Ricard sacrificed himself to ensure our escape. As the Emperor's rise brought about Pandaemonium, Leon has joined my group with some reluctance from both himself and Hilda, but with the four youths together at last, they must face the Emperor and banish Pandemonium back to the depths of hell. So let's get to it! I make my way to the Jade Passage. Enemies found in the world nearby it include Great Malboros, enemies capable of inflicting every single temporary status effect with their attacks. Hektais, enemies with a multitude of spells, including Osmos 10 for massive MP draining, and if for some reason they spend all of it, they have insta-kill attacks. Mantis Kings, decently strong enemies that are weak to ice. Mega Parasites, they have attacks that inflict amnesia and spells that drain HP and MP. Salamanders, strong enemies with a Blaze 16 ability. And finally, Abyss Worms, very strong and capable of casting Cyclone 13 for non-elemental damage. I go to the nearby lake, entering the passage. A new enemy that can be found here is the Chimera Sphinx, enemies with Bad Breath 10, giving them a good chance at petrifying characters. I go east then south, opening a chest containing a diamond mace, the strongest staff. Then I go west then south, opening a chest that holds hellfire. I then go east, finding stairs to the second floor. Going north, finding a chest that has hellfire. I then go east, finding a chest containing Antarctic wind. Then I go southwest, finding a chest holding cat claws, the strongest knife. It is effective against spellcasters as well. But before I can give it to Firion though, I must face a blue dragon, a strong enemy that has the Thunderbolt 16 ability and a weakness to poison. I deal good damage with Scourge. By the time I curse it with the Ancient Sword though, it was pretty much done for. I then go east, then north, finding stairs to the 3rd floor. I go south, then east, across a waterfall, which does damage. Going north, then back south around a wall, finding a chest in an alcove that has a rune axe, the strongest axe. It is also effective against spellcasters. Before I can give it to Guy, I must face the King Behemoth, a strong enemy with no tricks up its sleeve. I curse it with the Ancient Sword, so the fight takes little time. I then go west, through the waterfall, then south and east. Behind this waterfall is a secret shop that sells Death, Berserk, Haste and Flare spells. I go east, finding 3 doors, going through the eastmost one to find stairs to the 4th floor. Then go north, finding a chest containing a Betrayal Fang. I then go northeast, finding a chest that has the Yoichi's bow, the strongest bow. It is capable of casting Berserk 3. Before I can give it to Maria, I must face a red dragon, the strongest dragon. It has a Blaze 16 ability and a weakness to ice. I curse him early and use Blizzard as well. After defeating him, he drops a dragon shield that I give to Leon. This shield resists fire, ice, lightning and poison. I then go west, entering a room that contains 3 chests. They contain an Aegis shield, which resists matter, mind, body and death. I give it to Guy, a Holy Lance, the strongest lance. It is effective against dragons, and can also cast Holy 8. It is single-use though. And finally, a set of dragon armor. It resists the same elements as the dragon shield. I give it to Guy. I then go southeast, finding stairs to the 5th floor. I go north, finding a chest containing a high potion, then go further north, finding a chest containing a protect ring, an armor piece that resists death and grants good magic defense. I give it to Maria. Then I go east, finding another high potion. Then I go south, finding stairs to the 6th floor, a simple corridor. Although nothing seems to be at the end of it, walking to the end takes me to Castle Pandaemonium. The Fortress of Hell has new enemies that include Beast Demons, rather fragile spellcasters that have a poisonous attack, Death Riders, enemies that drain HP with their 8 attacks, Mantis Devils, they have paralyzing attacks, but not much else, and Mithril Golems, enemies with incredibly high stats, magic defense and resistance to all elements. I go counterclockwise around this room, finding stairs at the center that take me to the 2nd floor. I go south, climbing stairs north, finding a chest that contains an Ether. I then go southwest, then north, finding a warp point to the 3rd floor. A new enemy found here is the Devil Wolf, incredibly weak spellcasters. Confuse 16 can be a threat though. I go south, finding a chest containing eye drops. I then go back north, east and south, finding a warp point to the 4th floor. This room features 4 doors, each pair leading to a different large room. I enter the westmost door. A new enemy can be found here, the Iron Giant, an enemy that is comparable with a boss fight, with a maximum of 12 hits per attack, high stats, magic defense and a Poison Cloud 16 ability. It is weak to lightning and ice though. I go west, then north, finding a chest that contains Genji gloves, the gauntlets that have the highest defense and the resistance to mind. Before I can give these to Leon, I must face someone familiar. It's Zombie Borgen. He's gotten quite a bit stronger in his Undeath, with high stats, a paralyzing attack, and the Flare 16 spell for massive non-elemental damage. Too bad for him, my party has gotten stronger as well. I don't even bother with any tricks, just a frontal assault. I then go all the way to the east, finding a hidden room that has a chest that contains the Masamune, the strongest sword. It is capable of casting Haste 11 as well. I give it to Firion. I then exit the room, going back to it through the next door over, zigzagging north and south through the room, finding a chest that has the Genji helm, the headpiece with the highest defense. It resists matter as well. Before I can give it to Leon, I must face its guardian, Tiamat. This dragon resists many elements, and has a poisonous attack and all 4 elemental abilities. It's at this point I decide to try something new, the Blood Sword. Taking 1/16 of max HP per hit from a boss is an incredibly strong ability, especially when backed with the Masamune's haste. And sure enough, she goes down quickly. I exit the room, entering the eastmost door to the other room, going east, then north, finding a chest containing a set of Genji armor, the armor with the highest defense and the resistance to death. Before I can give it to Leon, I must face Beelzebub, a strong poisonous attacker. It also has many incredible spells to cast. Haste-buffed Blood Sword attacks make quick work of this boss. I then exit the room, going back to it through the next door over. This is another path that consists of north-south zigzags that has a chest in the middle of it. It contains a ribbon, a headpiece that resists all elements and grants good magic defense. Before I can give it to Maria, I must face Astaroth, another enemy with high stats, great spells to cast, and an attack that drains HP. This is another boss that falls quickly to haste-boosted Blood Sword attacks. I continue along the path. Finding a warp point on the southwest takes me back to an isolated section of the previous room. At the end of this path is another warp point that takes me to the 5th floor. I find a chest to the north that contains a Sage's Wisdom. I then go clockwise along the room, finding a warp point to the 6th floor. I go east, finding a chest that contains Hellfire, then go northwest, opening a chest that holds an Acid Vial. I then go east, finding a warp point to the 7th floor. Going to the southwest corner, finding a warp point to the 8th floor. Going all the way north, finding the Emperor. He's definitely much more threatening this time, possessing massive HP, very high stats, an HP draining attack, and multiple spells to cast, including the Starfall 10 ability for massive non-elemental damage that is even stronger than Flare. Surely a recipe for a troubling fight that will take a long time to deal with. Or I could say Blood Sword, go! 2 haste-boosted attacks are all that it takes to take him down, and banish Pandemonium. The party stands victorious in Finn, being congratulated by Hilda, Gordon, Paul, and Layla. Joseph's daughter Nellie even joins Hilda to help her. Leon is a bit less celebrative. His crimes weigh on him a bit, so he decides to go alone, although Firion believes that one day he will return to them. As they leave, those who have been lost pay a little visit, with Firion seemingly being able to see them. The war is over. Pandemonium and its monsters gone. Rebuilding can begin. This is the end of Final Fantasy II. This rather unusual RPG was quite a departure from its predecessor. Although Final Fantasy's commitment to customization is still here, it has changed from party customization to character customization. The first 3 characters are blank slates to be molded by this game's unusual character progression system, where a single level stat that represents power is replaced by gradual stat increases provided by repetition of actions. This does create an unusual rubber banding effect for stats such as HP. If too much damage is being taken, it increases its odds of leveling up, otherwise it stays static. Characters are also able to learn any spell and use any weapon with no restrictions. Repeated usage of each also improves the appropriate proficiencies. It's not a perfect system, but it's not as prohibitive as I expected. Character progression aside, this is the first time Final Fantasy decided to have a more involved story. Clearing dungeons changes character dialogue a lot more than the previous entry, with some story events even having a permanent effect on the world. None is more consequential than the Cyclone, literally changing the random encounters found on the world. This involved story can be a bit of a weakness at times, since a few dungeons are flagged to prevent the usage of teleport spells, as it could break story events. In terms of equipment, it's fortunate that many bugs that assailed the previous entry are mostly gone. Very few spells are bugged, effective weaponry works, although certain character setups imply that both stat stacking and dual wielding are bugged. For the former, multiple equipment pieces that boost one single stat don't stack, and for the latter, the second weapon seems to not deal any amount of damage. Either way, I'd say overall it's a bit more functional than before, even if some other bugs might have slipped through. What I won't forgive though is the atrocious inventory management. Consumables don't stack at all, and weapons and armor now occupy the same inventory, rather than the 4 slots for each type for each character. Instead, characters get 2 item slots each, which does not compensate at all. This game does have some problems, not going to lie, but despite that, I think there's more than meets the eye for this one. Thank you for watching. Another adventure has ended, but more will be around, so I'll be seeing you next time.